Alright guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own battery charger for your WPL C14, B1, B24, and C24. In one of my previous videos I showed you how to make your own prototype battery out of Energizer rechargeables. And this thing still works great. I have not had any trouble out of it. I can drive this thing for several days if I'm only driving maybe an hour or so every day. So far it's doing really well. This is the original battery. I put it back together. And what I did to make my own charger is I just went to Goodwill and I found AC adapters for cordless telephones. All you need is 6 volt, 300 milliamps. You can probably go up to 500 milliamps. You'll be okay. And what you will see on most of these plugs, let me unplug the one that's actually on the truck because it'd be a better example, is you will see on the plug that there's going to be the circle with the positive in it. That's telling you that the center of the plug, the little jack plug it's going to have, the center of that plug is your positive wire. So when you cut the end of the wire off, you'll know that's what goes to the red wire on your battery. Now, I was lucky enough to find this one, which I think this was for a cheap RC car. And this one has like a mini style of the Tamiya plug, which you could also use. There's a better shot of it. And on this one, it has a little diagram that shows you that the square side is positive and the circle side is negative. That'll work. So all you have to do is look. Square side is the white wire. So the white wire is positive. And I can actually verify that on my charger I've already made, that the white wire is indeed the one that goes to the positive side of the battery on my truck. So you can also verify this with a multimeter to see just which direction the wires go. But what I did was I went on eBay and I ordered a whole bunch of these JST micros, which are the same style battery connectors as come on the truck. Just like this, little males and females. I got a whole cluster. I think there's like 25 sets. I'll put a link in the description. And I also ordered the kind of build it yourself type, where you get a whole bunch of little contacts and you can solder whatever wire you want on there. And this is what I use to make my battery side, because I like putting the really thick, you know, like 18 gauge wire on here. So you just pick your two of these guys, solder your wires into them, stick them in the plug. They snap in. I'll try to find a link to that and put it in the description as well. So, since we already know which side of this is positive, which is the white wire, you're going to clip it off. I always like to leave a little extra room with plugs like this because I can reuse it for something else later. And then you just pull them apart. And you always want to make sure the plug that you're using, the color of the wire matches up on the other side, and this one does not. Clearly, the red turns into black. So these were wired backwards in China, so not a huge deal. I'll just hook them up backwards. Now, to accomplish all this, you're going to need solder, heat shrink tubing, and a good soldering iron. I prefer the butane type myself because they heat up really fast. And they don't really let me down. Now while that's heating up, I'm going to grab my wire strippers. Now my wife got me these for Christmas. They're wire stripping pliers. I believe they were like $10 on eBay. So if you need some wire stripping pliers, go ahead and go hunt some down. They're pretty awesome. soldering iron should be just about heated up. If you find an AC adapter, there is a chance it does not work or it does not function properly. And there is one way to test if your AC adapter is working if you don't have a multimeter. It's only 6 volts, so you're not going to get shocked by this. So don't worry, I've got the wires stripped. I mean, I can touch them together and it's fine. But now that it's plugged in, if your motor spins, it works. Now if it just sits there and kind of buzzes or doesn't do anything, don't use that one. Now what you're really looking for on the AC adapters is where it says Class 2 transformer. Alright, you need a Class 2 transformer, 6 volt DC, and I'm using 300 milliamps, which is more than the stock horrible charger they give you with the WPLs, and those usually burn out pretty fast. So if you've got one of those, now you know how to make a new one. I don't want to seem like I'm rushing through this video, but it is like 97 degrees in this garage right now in Texas, so I am trying to hurry a little bit. Now you can just take a couple strips of your heat shrink tubing. You can use electrical tape, or you could even use the liquid tape like I used on sealing the ends of the battery. This is my original Franken battery that I rebuilt, put a label inside of it and everything, says prototype. I thought it looked kind of neat. Makes it look a lot better than that electrical tape wrapped thing. Okay. Get your shrink tubing installed. You can go ahead and do that on both ends. I'm going to go with the white wire first. So this is going to be positive, keeping in mind that the plugs I have are wired backwards. So I'm going to be doing the black wire to the positive. I'm going to go ahead and put solder on both ends of my cable, just to kind of make this a lot faster. Taking the black connector, I will solder it to the white striped wire. Giving that a second to cool down, because if you go yanking the shrink tubing over it now, it'll shrink and constrict and you'll have to cut it off and start all over. So, pulling it down. You can actually do this with a heat gun, a lighter, or another reason why I like the butane ones, they have this hole in the front, and that's kind of a heat gun for shrinking the tubing. Being careful not to heat your finger, of course. I always try to get away from it. Alright, that one's nice and on there, really good. Now I will connect the negative side. I mean, even if you have to buy the whole cordless phone at Goodwill, they won't often just sell you just the AC adapter. Some thrift stores will. They'll have a bucket of them, and for like $1 or $2, you can buy an AC adapter. Or if you just have lots of old crap in your garage like I do, you'll have a whole bucket of them ready to go. There. All assembled. I can now test it by plugging it in to a battery. Nothing funny happening yet, no breakers kicking, nothing heating up. So yeah, it should be charging that battery. Alright, I'm going to give this a little bit of time to charge. I made sure it was completely dead before starting this, so I'm going to give it about an hour and we're going to see if it'll power the truck. Alright, I've now let the battery charge for about 45 minutes. I went ahead and I've cleaned up the bench a little bit, put some of the tools away in the meantime. I have the original battery still just sitting in the truck Now I'm going to go ahead and just plug in the yellow one to the truck's harness. Set it right here. We now have flashing lights. Previously I had run the battery down to the point where the truck wouldn't move anymore. The headlights would just dim out and it wouldn't drive. So, yep, battery is now charging. I'll put it back on the charger, let it finish completely. I had a subscriber of mine ask me where you get the chargers from, and I couldn't find one. So I'm just like, hey, I'll make a video showing you how to make your own charger. Hopefully it'll help them out. Hopefully this video will help out somebody else. If it did, give me a like, share, rate, comment, subscribe, the usual. And if anyone was wondering how I was able to clean up my original prototype battery, this is what you need to get. Liquid tape to seal the ends of the batteries to prevent corrosion, especially if you're going to be running through water. And I got clear heat shrink. You can order this online, or I went to Fry's Electronics, and you get 1.5 inch heat shrink tubing. And you slide your battery down in there and you just lightly heat gun it until it shrinks up on there. Now you have a semi-professional looking battery pack made out of awesome nickel metal hydride Energizer batteries that will last you all frickin' day. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.